Hi, love.
Took me a second to figure that out.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah.
Also, just yeah, no problem at all. It's a little bit of an interesting way of interviewing, but until COVID-19 lets us live our lives, this is how we're gonna do it.
Yep. I'm here for it. It's okay.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. Okay, now we're starting to have some people in here. Um, Welcome to Ink Therapy. Today we have an amazing artist, also our first female artist, Angel Rose here. Her Instagram is the Angel Rose, and I've pinned it in the comments. I'm super excited to talk to you today about a whole bunch of stuff. There's so many things as I was like going through what we're going to talk about today. I was like, well, it's only 30 minutes. Do we even have time to talk about this major list of shit that I have to talk to you about? So we're going to
go really fast. We can just like hang it out.
Exactly. It's going to be the lightning round version of Ink Therapy today. So for those of you who are joining, those of you who this is the first time joining this series, Ink Therapy is based around having conversations about tattoo art, body art, in an effort to help bring further understanding and also healing to a lot of people. So pull out your notebooks, grab a glass of wine, your drink, your non-alcoholic drink, sparkling water, whatever floats your boat. Grab that, find a relaxing place, and we're about to get started. So Angel, again, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to start off just by letting the viewers know a little bit more about you, how long you've been tattooing, and what got you started.
Well, it's been over 4 years now. Been tattooing full time for over 4 years. I was practicing a little bit longer than that, but I was definitely not legit yet, So I'm still I think once you say 4 years, people kind of start taking you seriously. They're not like, oh, you're just some kid. So that's cool. Will you say how I got started tattooing?
Yes.
So I'm from Hawaii originally. I grew up there, born and raised, and everyone in Hawaii has tattoos. It's just a thing. So I grew up really immersed in tattoo culture. All my family was getting tattoos. My dad was getting his back piece when I was 5.
Wow.
And
shout out to Dad. That's some cool dad shit right there.
Yeah, we sort of have a matching tattoo. It's kind of cute.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So he also, on another note, has a portrait of me as a Jedi, which is just my dad's just cool. Long story short, it's really epic. My dad's really cool. He's been getting tattoos for as long as I've been around, and so I just in my head as a kid I was like, oh, tattooers are such respectable parts of the community. Somebody's got to do the tattoos because everybody has tattoos. Somebody's got to be able to do them. So I always thought it was really cool. Then I was actually in film school, and one of my design classes had me keep a sketchbook, and it had been a while since I had sat down and really worked on art, and I was reminded that, oh yeah, I'm really good at drawing.
By the way, you're awesome at drawing, so I should do something with that.
Had this sketchbook, and I was like, well, I'm in college and starving, and maybe I need to be more productive. So I kind of played with the idea of doing an apprenticeship. Long story short, ended up an apprenticeship, and then my film school ended up closing in this huge scandal. So tattooing became a full-time thing, and and then it's been crazy ever since then.
Yeah, I love how the world will always put you in the position and the place that you need to be. Even though you speak about the film school scandal having such a serious impact, I feel like none of this that you're doing now would have been possible if you had have stayed the film school course. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and what was kind of crazy was I was in school and I was dying, dude. I was not doing well. I was, at the shop till 3 in the morning every night, and then
Oh,
waking up at 7 to go to school, and it was
yeah,
just not okay.
definitely.
And I remember calling my best friend and just crying, like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, you have to pick one. And I was like, I won't. I'm too stubborn.
Mm, yeah.
And 2 weeks later, it closed down, and I was like,
Yeah.
hmm.
Life made a decision for you.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love
So,
that. It's very interesting to hear you speak about the um, Hawaiian culture and
mhm.
how that had such a serious impact on, inspiring you to tattoo. Do you see a lot of that integrated into your work, or was that just something that, just started you off and then it's kind of like you can shift back and forth, or is it just something that, I don't know how to
Well,
really answer that question?
I guess I would say maybe it doesn't, my work really reflects kind of like where I started tattooing in like Southern California.
Okay.
My style really looks like that, but
Okay.
say in the way that I handle my clients and the way, the experience that I try to cultivate when people come to get tattooed by me,
Yes.
that's where the like, the aloha spirit really like comes
Yeah.
in. And that's where like everything I've ever been taught really like, that's where people, sort of experience that side of me.
For sure. No, no. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? I can definitely see where you're getting at as far as like um, just the way that you carry yourself and the way that you interact with your clients. Tell us a little bit more about like that aloha spirit that you feel.
Well, I definitely, I'm well aware that getting tattooed is it's a really vulnerable experience for people, and I really try to welcome them in and make them feel like they're kind of just hanging out.
Yeah.
We're all just having a good time. We'll pull up a chair and tell life stories and make
Yes.
sure that they have all their snacks and their food and anything they can need. And I have a lot of clients that'll sit there and every time they, because I have a lot of repeat clients, they'll
Hmm.
come in and they'll tell me, about their dating life or about
Yeah.
whatever. And every single time I want an update, I want to know what's been happening. And I develop like pretty close relationships with my clients because I really just, I like to just pull people in and make them feel really, really welcomed. And that's kind of, there's a lot of tattooers that like to just pop headphones in, do their job and get out, and that's really not, that's not who I am. It's not, what I was taught. I find myself being an extremely hospitable person just because that's how I grew up. And so that's kind of how that fits in. And, even further, like my shop in LA and, now my new shop I'm at, it's like, we would have, kids working like, like 18-year-old kids like working at the ice cream shop across the way, and they'd, wander in and we'd be like, what's up, kid? Like, what's going on?
Right.
Come hang out, have a coffee. What's going on with you? And then, then pretty soon, they'd come in and they'd be telling me about, oh, I'm going on this date with this girl. And I'd be like, oh, cool. Like, let me know how it goes. He'd come back the next day, let me know how it went. And I just like, I really just, whenever somebody comes through my doors, I just pull them in and I'm like, come hang out, be my,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, I love that. I definitely completely 100% agree with you as far as just like not being able to identify with that like wham bam thank you ma'am service of like fast food service, like
Yeah.
tattoo service. Like I don't even think traditionally, like with like ancient tattoo art, that's never how it's been. It is a very intimate experience, and part of intimacy is communication and bonding. And so in whatever way that occurs, whether it is somebody just venting to you about their day or seeking advice, or just you saying, hey kid, come grab a coffee,
Yeah.
let's talk. I love that you are one of the artists that is maintaining um, the integrity of the tattoo art. So
Yeah.
shout out
And
to you for that.
there is this kind of philosophy that I've heard, and I'm not exactly sure where it originated. Someone told me that it was, from the, like ancient Polynesian practice
Mm-hmm.
of tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
But um, the basic concept of it is that, we're not, when we're tattooing, we're not adding to someone. We're basically like revealing what's underneath. It's almost,
Oh,
it's like this
sweet.
beautiful
Woo!
metaphor for, like it's kind of like your tattoos are your soul, but on the outside. And
Wow. Write that down. Somebody write that down. I'm writing it down right now.
I take that very seriously. When I consult with my clients, I really try to, kind of like see them and hear whatever stories they may have and translate it properly, because I know that I'm basically the gatekeeper between what they're, I don't know. I have to translate, like their soul, basically,
right. and not an easy job.
Yeah, so I take that very seriously, and part of that is them being able to feel vulnerable and comfortable.
Yes. Love that. 100% love that. We got a shout out for Southern California in the comments, so shout out to Southern California for that. I did hear you speak about your work, reflecting like a traditional like Southern California vibe, and I don't think that that we could ever summarize, Southern California style in like one way. But what do you think? Tell me about what you think Southern California tattooers or tattoo style like does best.
Well, here's the deal, right? Black and gray really started in Southern California. Like,
right.
And it existed in other places, but its like birthplace in the United States was Southern California, with like Good Time Charlie and Freddie Negretti, those guys. So that has really become kind of, if you see work that looks like that, traditional Chicano, East LA, sick, fucking black and gray, like you don't really you see that and you don't go, oh, like, did that come from the East Coast? No.
Right.
When you see it, you have a feel for it. And I started tattooing in Ventura, California, with a bunch of black and gray guys. And like, that was, I started tattooing, doing black and gray and lettering. I was just like, I was so into that, like that style. And, so it's kind of cool that I now like have that signature as I like go through my career and, like go out, do all the things I've done. And it's fun. Whenever I go out to the East Coast, like I'll be out in Philly or something, and like there's nowhere near as many black and gray guys. And then you see my style, they're like, oh, you're from California, huh? And I'm like,
right. Obviously. That's so funny because I literally made a post about Drake's back tattoos the other day. Have you seen that picture that's trending on Instagram?
Maybe.
I'm gonna have to send it to you.
I've been in a hole. I have so much going on. But I'll check it out.
Yeah, no. For those of you who didn't know, Angel is transitioning to Utah.
Yeah, I just moved to Salt Lake City.
Awesome. So she's now in Salt Lake City. She's been doing all types of boss lady stuff, like transitioning stuff in her shop. So I completely understand that you might be a little bit off the map these days, but I'll send you the picture. But just to summarize it, Drake has a whole bunch of black and gray work on his back.
Yes.
It's terrible. And for him to live in SoCal and whatever, Sherman Oaks or wherever he Hollywood, wherever
doesn't matter,
somewhere over there, and for him to have as much money as he does, there is no excuse for you to have bad tattoos.
I am perplexed by the amount of terrible tattoos on celebrities. I don't know how, like, they don't see us. I don't know what.
It's very confusing.
They don't know we exist or something.
So I think, number one, amen to that, because I just think that is another freaking pandemic that we're dealing with in America that nobody has.
This is why we need people like you. That's like, it's your job to find an artist.
Oh yeah, but of course they don't want to talk to me. I think the reason is that they do not have conversations with people like me and you, like, this is what we do, is because, and this is just my theory. So, don't go ham on me in the comments. But my theory is because many of them have experienced being taken advantage of in so many ways because of their status. They're afraid to explore.
Sure.
Which to me, I get it 100%. But like, if you're afraid to explore, that just means that you're going to stay stagnant in whatever you do. Like, even if we take it as baseline, as like, you're afraid to talk to a new fashion designer because the ones you've been dealing with are loyal, and you're afraid a next fashion designer might charge you something ridiculous or might screw you over, like whatever. But like at the end of the day, you're going to be wearing the same things for years and years to come. Every big show, every art basel, every Met Gala, like you're going to have the same style on, and you're not growing. So this is just a disclaimer. I'll get off my soapbox now. To all the celebrities, we need you to improve your artwork. We need you to set an example and be an example. If you're going to be a public figure, we need everything on your body to be impeccable. Just like how you make your haircut.
If celebrities start, seriously collecting tattoos from, like getting bodysuits, whatever they're doing, or even just collecting smaller tattoos from, really talented artists, then, I feel like most of the world is going to see that and be like, oh, wait, I don't want to just go to any old artist. I want to artist shop, and I want to find, my soulmate, so to speak.
I want the best. Like, I just don't understand why there's people who even, let's talk about people who aren't celebrities, just everyday people, walking around the world who want to invest in tattoo art. I would just hope that they want the best on their body.
Definitely.
But then that might go to exposure, that might lead us into another conversation about accessibility and exposure and not knowing what's best. I get it. So,
but what's lucky is that we live in, and I'm gonna say this with caution, but the tattoo industry is very saturated, and clients are very fortunate because of that. Because I just moved to Salt Lake City, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh, well, I could, if I were looking for a tattoo artist, I could find one here, right. And I don't, I didn't really know much about Salt Lake City. It was honestly such a whim thing, but, but I was looking around, and I was like, you can go to almost any city, and you're not too far from somebody who's good at almost any style, right. I mean, if you're like, oh, I want biomech or something, I mean, good luck, but, but, my point is that, like, there are good tattooers around. They're just, it's like untapped. It's weird.
For sure. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to figure something out, because my goal for 2020 is to start opening people's eyes on quality and not quality tattoo work. So yeah.
That's been something I'm very passionate about too, so call me when you do
that. Look, I'm like, we might have to have another episode just about this, because people do not get it. All right, so we're gonna kind of shift a little bit away from the soapbox that we were on, and more so back to the therapeutic theme of this show. So the first question I'll start off with is, how do you feel tattooing has fulfilled you? Or how does it?
Well, there is no other art style there's no other, medium of art that can live a life the way a tattoo can.
Yeah.
Sometimes I will be tattooing someone, and they'll be like, I don't really care, or like, they'll be like, yeah, or people will, just kind of have a little bit of a I don't care attitude about it. And I look at them and I think, well, I identified my dad by the tattoos he had when I was a kid. I was like, your future children are going to see those tattoos and remember them as part of you. That's powerful.
Oh my God.
The fact that the art piece that I'm doing is going to walk through an entire life.
Yeah. I think that's the part that blows my mind the most. Like, when you said that, I automatically thought about like paintings or whatever it is, like staying, even like photos or something. Usually they have like a set location, right? And a place that they're going to stay for the majority of their life. But with tattoos, literally, it's like the minute it's finished, like it's affecting everyone that you're passing by, grocery stores, as you travel the world. Like, yeah, I think that's so epic.
And that's crazy. And even the most mundane life a person can have, that tattoo's still gonna walk around, walk their dog, go to the store, whatever, and it's still gonna move around more than like even an art piece in a traveling museum exhibit. Like, even an art piece that travels the world and thousands of people see it, it's not the same. Like,
Right.
it's not part of a human being.
Exactly. And on top of that, you get to touch it too, which a lot of art you don't get to fucking
Yeah,
touch.
I know, it's kind of indestructible. I mean, unless you get like massive road rash, like they're
Right.
staying.
Yeah. Yeah. I have that. Well, I was a former teacher, so I taught middle school for a few years, and I just remember my kids always coming up and literally just like looking at my tattoos, but like touching them, you know, and like like go following the lines of the ones on my arms, or like, you know, and just talking about the color, and like that ability to be able to like touch it, experience it in a way that you can't experience in a museum or through a screen or something. Super powerful.
Definitely.
Super powerful.
And then, like, for example, you know, like my dad, he got this like full back piece of a tiger when I was a kid.
Oh,
Like down the road, his daughter becomes a tattoo artist. Now I have a giant tiger on my side. Like, it's just
yeah.
like it evolves. It's like you never know what the tattoo is going to turn into.
Literally, literally. Well, that was an epic answer. I also wrote down something else that you said, just about basically like there's no other medium that can live a life that a tattoo can. So everybody who's viewing, you need to write that down too. She's preaching over here.
I really like this. Can you tell?
Yes. So another one okay. Sorry. So we talked about fulfilling. The theme of this show is ink therapy. So why do you think tattooing is so therapeutic for artists or clients, or you can speak about both? What is like the therapy aspect of it? Where does that come from?
Ooh, okay, I got this. So, well, I mentioned vulnerability before,
Yeah.
which is a huge part of it. It's you have to kind of relinquish control and really trust someone that you just met in a really big way. And I think that is a huge mental hurdle for a lot of people. Like, you know, I do a lot of work to keep people comfortable, but I know it is nerve-wracking. And not only that, but it hurts a lot. So not only are you having to like trust another human being, like the human condition is so apparent when you're getting tattooed. It's so vulnerable and so like visceral and intense, and you're scared and you just feel like you're almost like primal. You're like all of these things are happening, right? And then you end up in pain, and then you make it through, and then you are changed forever afterwards. And it's like when you go through something that is like not traumatic, but like it is
Intense.
and scary and painful, and then you come out on the other side and it was worth it. I think you there's something to be learned about yourself in there. You know, overcoming things is one of the best ways to like really show yourself who you are. And so, you know, getting through like a full day session with me, I you know, I see the transformation every day when they look in the mirror and they're like, that's me now, you know, and I made it. There's always that sense of like, I did it, you know, I like climbed the peak, and I'm standing at the top looking down now, and I'm like, fuck yeah, you know. And
like cheering them on, like, yeah, you did that shit.
Well, the people who maybe have, you know, a hard time believing in themselves, or maybe don't attack things with a lot of confidence, or whatever it is, you know, once you make it through something like that, you've then proven to yourself that, you know, you can handle stuff, you know, like you can get it done. And even if that means we have to stop and start again another day, like you're still like all throughout, like you are having to be extremely honest with yourself. And I think, you know, the whole process is very honest, and I think that is what makes it so like therapeutic. You know, that's why people
truly. No, truly, I can definitely 100% identify with that. We got a question in the comments. What do you love most about tattooing?
Okay. Wow. Well, I mean, kind of what I said before, you know, kind of the fact that like these super cool people walk into my life and trust me to like translate some super, you know, part of, you know, who they are.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be super like a piece of their soul. It could even just be like, I really like dinosaurs. I'm like, you're rad, I'll give you a dinosaur, you know.
Definitely.
But it is part of them, and the fact that I get to kind of translate whatever part of them they decide needs to be translated, that's cool. Like that makes me very happy. You know,
For
that's the
sure. Yeah.
coolest.
That sounds like an ideal situation every day to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
I know we spoke about discussing the new page that you started,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm privileged enough to be an admin on.
Yeah.
The page is Dark Skin Tattoo Tips, so make sure that you all write that down. Go follow us now, repost. It's an amazing page. Um, we also yesterday spoke to Roger Perea um, about like the issues around tattooing darker skin,
Mm-hmm.
which was like perfect because I knew I was going to talk to you today.
Yeah.
So I just want you to talk to us a little bit about your inspiration behind the page, um, just for people who don't really know much about the page.
Okay. Well, basically, this all started because I remember learning how to tattoo, and a lot of narrative during my learning and throughout my career
Mm-hmm.
has kind of just pushed this idea that tattooing darker skin is difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guilty of it because I was taught that it was. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you know? You're an apprentice. You don't know anything.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of like getting super nervous and like
Yeah.
not knowing what to do and like maybe saying the wrong thing to my clients. I'm 100% guilty of that. And I as I got through my career, I realized that I was wrong. And I started really wanting to work with darker skin and really like being
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, this is bullshit.
Right.
Like
Who
this is
made this up?
yeah, it's like 100% just like a fear-based thing, and I think it is rooted in racism, truthfully.
Yeah.
Which like I probably don't need to say that, but we're
No,
there.
I love like this is literally
But
called ink therapy. Like we're getting everything out with everybody we
yeah,
talk to.
but
Keep it
it's like
real.
we all know, there are some
Yeah.
people like on my page who like to be like, it's not a racist issue. I'm like, it is. Um, and I'm just one of those tattooers that's here to talk about it, And I thought, well, it's really common among tattooers to be nervous about that, to not really know what's going on because that stigma it runs pretty deep in
Right.
the industry. And so I thought, okay, well, there are people who know how,
Yeah.
and I only know, a limited amount. Like I know my black and gray really well, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of holes in my game,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was like, well, what if we had a platform to share our techniques? What if
Yeah.
we had a platform to talk about, okay, which pigments work best, which,
Mm-hmm.
what
It's so
what
critical.
color wheel do you
Yeah.
base your tattoos off? How do you talk to your clients? How
Right.
to it just I really wanted to open up a discussion amongst tattooers where we could learn off of each other and fill all of the gaps in all of our game, and so that hopefully people start like putting out really good work on dark skin, and it starts being like less of a strange thing to see dark skin on your feed when you turn on Instagram, and I just thought of it as like a small way that I could maybe like help, and so I just like made the page, threw it together, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna just start pushing information through as fast as I can because this needs to get out, and people have responded so beautifully to it. Like I can't even. It like makes me cry.
Yeah. I text Angel the other day, just acknowledging her for even just having like the courage to start something like this, and like we are just talking about how the page has like 4,000 followers now. It's not
It's
a lot, but
cool.
that's a lot for like
But that's mostly tattoo artists.
yeah.
Four
Yeah.
thousand tattoo artists who are dedicated to learning how to work with dark skin and like honest with themselves about it.
Um,
That's powerful. Like
it's so
it makes me feel tingly. I'm like,
yeah, for
ah!
sure. For sure. We have somebody in the comments. Coops DeVille said Angel was the first tattooer that I met that defended the idea that artists shouldn't turn away darker skin tone. So that is so bomb. I
That's my
love
buddy.
that
That's
you just
That's
use
my
it
buddy
for.
Cody. He's
Oh,
always here to support. Love him
for
so much.
sure. And that's awesome that you are willing to be that person for a lot of people, and that we will be that person for a lot of people with this live, and same with Cody. Now that you have the power, pass it on. I'm super excited to be able to work on this page with you, and I'm excited for what it's going to bring for sure.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do more with it. And as soon as I am coherent again.
Yeah, girl, I get it.
But it really makes me so happy, and I'm so glad that you wanted to join in on it, because I am me. I'm only just a tattoo artist,
and we're just making life
there needs to be many voices in on a project like this.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to us for that.
Us.
I'm like looking through at the time, and I'm like, fuck, it's time. But I wanted to do something fun, so I'm trying to pick like a fun question. I feel like everything we've done is super heavy, which is great. But
I love it. I'll dive right in. Everything.
Do you have a pet peeve as a tattoo artist?
For what tattoo artists do?
Yeah, it could be like it could be a simple one, like about tattooing in general, or like interacting with clients. It could be about like the tools you use and why stuff isn't easier, with whatever your pet peeve is.
Well, here's my pet peeve, and it's going to be pretty heavy because this is who I am. Tattooers, there's a lot of kind of clout chasing, and I'm guilty of it. I am. But the thing is that I hate when I can see that an artist is basically just like using their client, like almost like stepping on their clients, like
no clout chasing
games. But like, here's an example: like when I see like a color realism artist that'll just like blast a giant like hyper realistic parrot or something, just like a crude like black space around it that doesn't connect to anything and it doesn't flow with anything. I'm just like, bro, you're just trying to flex, and that's a fucking person, dude. Like, I get really mad about that. I hate when a lot of people ask me this. They're like, why don't you only do like creative freedom projects? And I'm like, you know what? I don't like creative freedom projects as much as I like hearing people's stories and translating them, because it's not about me, and that's my philosophy with tattooing, is just that like I am here to be like a interpreter a little bit more than to just like do the dopest tattoo of the day. Sometimes I don't post what I do or whatever, like because it's at the end of the day, it's not about me. The best tattoos that I've done have been the ones that I'm like, this has a story, and I managed to translate it in a way that I'm really proud of, and I share the story and people love it, and that tattoo walks around and it lives a life and all that shit. So I don't like when it's a little bit selfish. Like, I really hate that. I think that we're better than that, and honestly, being a tattoo artist we're not fucking rock stars. Like, we can chill, like we can chill.
For sure. No, definitely. I think that was a perfect way to summarize cloud chase. Tooting your own horn. Let's end it with some finish this statement. So the first one says, I will be remembered for. Just like, these are short and sweet. They have to be short and sweet. That's the point of it.
I hope that I will be remembered for how about I hope that I'll be remembered for the impact I have more so than the art that I do. The art that I do is great, but I want to make people happy. That's my deal.
Great. I love that.
I want, when people are like, I got tattooed by Angel, I want them to be like, she was so fun to be around. I mean, the tattoo is cool, but like, I love getting tattooed by Angel.
I get it. In 10 years, the tattoo world will.
Ooh. Who even knows? Be extinct, maybe? No, I'm just kidding.
I like that one.
Maybe.
Wouldn't that be some crazy shit?
In 10 years, the tattoo industry will be something that I don't think any of us can fathom. You know,
Yes.
in 77, they opened the very first custom tattoo shop in Southern California. The very first custom. That's, you know, not flash. Like, we'll do whatever you say. That was like
Are we getting
50 years ago? Like, compared to other art styles, like, this is growing insanely. I talk a lot. Keep going.
Something I've never done but want to.
I have never snowboarded, but I just moved to Salt Lake City, so this
You're
winter.
definitely gonna snowboard. Please be careful. Oh my gosh, that scares me so much. Skiing, well, yes, both of them. I was about to say snowboarding. I feel like it's a little bit safer, but please be careful. Wear a helmet.
It's just what popped into my mind. I could come up with something better, but you know.
Someone I want to work with.
Who I want to work with? Well, I was hopefully going to be. I was actually supposed to be moving to Oregon at the end of this year. You know, plans change, pandemics happen, things like that. I was supposed to be out, hopefully opening a shop in Portland and working with my buddy Bob out there. That's kind of what popped into my mind when you asked that. But
for sure,
I mean, anyone that cool, you know what I mean? Like,
that's real.
Good artist, dude. I get so excited to work with.
Yeah, cool. I definitely get the pandemic making such things. I'm supposed to. Well, I'm in LA, but I think I'm gonna end up going back home for a second to Atlanta, which I'm not. I'm kind of excited about, but I was more excited about not going back home. So,
well, pandemic happened.
Yeah.
The amount of patience I have after this is just unshakable.
Truly, I'm so. And the last one is first time tattoo recipients should
be skeptical.
Yeah.
Think really hard. Stress yourself out if you have to.
This how you summarize it is hilarious. Be skeptical. But that is so that is real. Y'all need to write that down.
Demand the best for yourself. You know, and it should feel when it's right, it should feel comfortable. You should be like, this is gonna go perfectly because you found the right person, you know? Truly.
Absolutely love it. I think that was a perfect way to end this session of Ink Therapy. Angel, thank you so much. This has been a fun, inspiring, quote writing down session. So I hope you all have enjoyed it as much as I have. We'll definitely have Angel back on Ink Therapy sooner rather than later. Again, her Instagram handle is @theangelrose. She's amazing. Go follow her now. Angel, anything else before we let these people go?
No, this was super great. I love talking.
So, we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Have a good one.